Well, we were expecting to be joined in studio by EFF leader Julius Malema, but unfortunately he had to pull out this evening. But from our Durban studios, we are joined by businessman and community activist Visvin Reddy. Vis, welcome to the Globe, and thank you very much for joining us. The question of racism is a global challenge, and I think as the Kathrada Foundation has put it, it's a necessary discussion which needs to be engaged in.
Absolutely, but this is not the first time that Malema has made statements
Yes, go ahead, Vis.
In 2011, he referred to South Africans of Indian origin as coolies. He was taken to court and then he apologized for what he said, and now he's done it again. Malema has breached his own constitution. The EFF constitution says that it's a political movement which seeks to act in the interest of all South Africans. Now, for Malema to make statements like this and next year to come to the same community that he calls racist and to expect to get votes from them does not make sense. Malema is a populist leader. He just makes statements because he wants to whip up support and emotions. This is highly irresponsible. The comments that Malema made, once again, is extremely hurtful. It's hurtful to the South African Indian community. It is damaging, it is unnecessary, and it's idiotic, it is grandstanding at best, it is publicity seeking. The reason it is hurtful is simply because this is exactly what the apartheid government did.
Okay,
the apartheid government put us into compartments, treated us as Indians and not as South Africans. Malema continuously refers to us as Indians and not as South Africans. We are 24 years into democracy. And what he has done, instead of dismantling the divisions of apartheid, he goes and creates more divisions.
Vis,
Malema has put his foot in his mouth again, and he needs to apologize.
Vis, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, now let's take this a step back. Out of what Julius said, where do you agree with him? Where do you think he was on point?
I would say that the issue of there being racists among any community, yes, there's racists in all communities in South Africa. There will be racists, but you don't go and generalize and you don't go and make statements without facts. He's got no facts.
But he didn't
like
say
saying,
all Indians.
If I get robbed by, he said the majority of Indians are racist.
Yes.
Where did he get the data from? What does he use to back this up? Did he go and spend time with the Indian community, years doing research, that he's able to come up with a statement that says most Indians are racist?
But
does
is
he
it
know
not
that
a fact?
He's clueless about the history. Sorry?
Is it not a fact that there are racist people in the Indian communities? I mean, we in the newsrooms here, we get reports of abuse of domestic workers right here in Lenasia. I mean, it's even worse in Durban. And you meet people who, since this debate started, say, you know what, this is a very important discussion that must be entered into. I'm not so sure if I'm getting you to be saying there isn't racism really within the Indian community, in as much as Julia said, it's the majority.
There's racism in all communities. And if there are instances in Lenasia or in Durban where there are Indian people or colored people or African people or white people who are being racist, please bring that. Bring that to I'll be the first to stand up in defense of those who are being treated poorly by any particular race group.
Can we
let's
focus
not make it
on
a racist, let's not categorize the entire community
I hear what you're saying.
Some instances which we cannot substantiate.
Vis, I hear what you're saying. I want us to just focus on the Indian community. Is it not a fact that there's racism in the Indian community? Let's not generalize.
Absolutely. I want to go...
Okay.
Well, I want to go back into history. During apartheid, we were deliberately treated as an Indian community and put into a compartment. We had our own separate amenities. We lived in separate race groups. Our children went to separate schools. We were treated differently. And to think that in 24 years, the whole of what apartheid did in over 100 years can be undone, that is something that's not possible. It's going to take a while.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we do not have much time this evening. I mean, we are on a news slot. I hope that we will, in one of our platforms or in one of our channels or programs here on SABC, be able to take this discussion further. That was community activist Visvin Reddy. For now, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we go on with the news. Please don't go away.